Hi there, it's Steve Reaver from stevereaver.com, and today I've got something here I built a while ago now, and I've been meaning to show it off a little bit. What it actually is a Raspberry Pi in a PlayStation 1 box. You can see it there. Now the way I've done it is I painted it black, obviously, and you can see the PlayStation 1 controllers at the front, and then on the back I've done a little bit of work with a Dremel tool and notched out a few. That hole there on the left is originally in the PlayStation 1 box. I had to notch that out so that the HDMI port was accessible, and that is the original AV hole where I've got this network lead coming out. I had intended to put a network port in there, but haven't done that yet. It's been a bit lazy. So yeah, what I do for network is just comes around here and there's a adapter. Yeah, so you can open it up obviously, and you can see, don't know if the lighting's any good, but you can see the Raspberry Pi in there, and you can see this flat ribbon cable which comes off the GPIO connector and connects to the ports at the front, and this happens to be a USB lead for the additional USB ports at the back. Yeah, alright, so I'll open it up and I'll show you what it looks like inside. Okay, so I've undone the screws and I should be able to open this up now, and here's what we have on the inside. So basically I've kept the original PlayStation power supply, which I had read online is not particularly good and doesn't supply a lot of current, but I don't know, maybe that's because the European or the American ones were like that. This is an Australian edition, and I found that this power supply has plenty of current and I haven't had any problems with dropouts. But basically what's happening is we've got a ground and 12 volt and a 3.3 volt coming out of the power supply here. My 12 volt goes through this regulator and then supplies the 5 volt directly into the GPIO, which powers the Raspberry Pi. The 3.3 volt goes directly onto the back of this header here. I don't know if I can show you that, and that's what powers the PlayStation controllers. Oh, what's happened there? So yeah, what's some other features I put in? I put in, I don't have it in there at the moment, but this adapter would normally have a wireless dongle plugged into it, running from around here in a wireless dongle. That's because I had it in the house and I had it connected to the network. And then the second USB port I've got coming around via this, and I've jammed this, cleverly snuck this USB hub, it's just a 1.1 USB hub, in next to the Raspberry Pi, and it lined up perfectly with those case holes, the original case holes, if you can see there. It lined up nicely. So that meant that the Raspberry Pi could fit in next to it, and the HDMI port was available at the back. Now the SIM is also very tricky as well. The SIM is actually in underneath that USB hub. I used some standard PC post to hold it up off the bottom of the plastic, and that gave enough room just in under there for the SIM to slide under there and not make contact with anything. If I do want to take the SIM out, I have to take this out and then pull the SIM out, but I've got a 64 gig SIM in there and I'm not likely to want to take it out, I hope. So yeah, there it is, Raspberry Pi all packed in there, and giving a nice interface for things like MAME and Commodore 64 emulator and so on, with a PlayStation controller, which is very good. Alright, so what I'm going to do now is I will put the lid back on and turn it on, and I'll show you how it works in operation. Excellent. Alright. Okay, so here we are back again. So I've got the Raspberry Pi all hooked up now. I've got this plugged in to my PlayStation controller. And something I didn't mention before is I've got this wireless USB dongle plugged in the back here, and that actually works with this wireless Shintaro keyboard. This is actually a Media Center keyboard, and it's quite handy. You can sit back, you can see you've got the mouse wheel there, you've got the mouse buttons, you control that with your right hand, and in your left hand you've got this neat little trackball. Because I've got the camera in my right hand, so I can't do that, but got the trackball there in your right hand, and it's quite neat. You can sit back and just comfortably use your keyboard. I use one of these in my Myth TV setup that I have in the lounge room. It works quite well. This is a spare one I had, and it all fits in quite neatly, and it's all nicely themed as a gaming console, as you can see there. So anyway, we turn on the PlayStation as you would a normal PlayStation. You can see the light comes on, and what I've got set up here is the HDMI going through that orange cable on the left into my Dell monitor here, and that Dell monitor has an audio out, and that lets me split the audio out, and that's this here. And then of course I'm in my studio, so the audio is not a problem. The audio goes down into my patch bay and then into my sound card and then out the speakers. So let's just watch this boot up here. Now I've got Pi MAME currently installed on here. It's probably a few versions old. What is it there? 0.7.10. So I haven't updated this for a little while. As I said, this unit's been sitting up in the house, and I haven't had a chance to bring it down to the studio and do any updates or muck around with it. So I actually thought I'd do this video first before I break it, and show you all how it works, and then I'll do the update. So alright, so the Pi MAME menu is pretty cool. I don't have it working with the controller yet, but my plan is to have it so you can use the controller. They had talked about it in the forum, so maybe the new version lets you do that. But anyway, I got my Shintaro keyboard here. I can just pick what I want. Arcade works pretty well. Neo Geo seems to work pretty well. So there's our Neo Geo screen. Load game. Bunch of games on there. What's good? Aero Fighters 3. Aero Fighters 3, start that up. And there you go. Just like the real thing. Now, I take my controller here, and the way I've got this set up is I press the select button. There we go, and that's giving me some credits. Chuck a couple of those on, and then hit start. Oh no, I'm not going to load them. Oh, absolutely impossible to do this with one hand. No. Yeah, and this is all with the PlayStation controller. No problems there. There we go. How to play. Good. And off we go. I'll just swap hands with the camera. Of course, I'm not going to be able to shoot, but I'm currently playing this looking through the lens of the camera, so that's not real good. But now you get the idea. You can see that runs really smoothly. I think the Neo Geo stuff is probably the best. Some of the MAME stuff is, well, MAME's flaky at the best of times, and the C64 stuff, the Pi tends to not really be able to handle it that well, but you know, Commando works and a few key games work okay, and the Amiga emulation's really just not there at the moment, but yeah, just having a handful of games on here is enough for me. It keeps me happy. Anyway, that's my Raspberry Pi in a PlayStation 1 box. See you later.